Today I'm going to tell you the story of warring kings, mighty gods, and great battles that changed history. Our story begins here in the forest of northern Germany, around the year 782. Of course, it is not called Germany now. It is populated by a tribe of people called the Saxons. So we refer to the countryside as Saxony. A great king from the south came up here to do battle with the Saxons. His name was Charlemagne, and he was a great warrior. He defeated the Saxons. Charlemagne was a Christian, but the Saxons believed in different gods. After the battle, Charlemagne gave the Saxons a choice: convert to Christianity or else. Most became Christians.
You can worship Christ or your own God for the rest of your life. But if you don't choose Christ, the rest of your life will be about 10 seconds long.
The reason Charlemagne was a Christian is because 200 years earlier, another king named Clovis had converted to Christianity and immediately had all his subjects converted as well. And 50 years prior to now, Charlemagne's grandfather, Charles the Hammer, had defeated an Islamic army in Spain. Otherwise, this area might have been Muslim. What day is today?
It's Thursday.
Right. Does anyone know how Thursday got its name? No? Thursday comes from the Old English pronunciation of Thorsday, named after the Norse god of thunder, Thor. Thor was a great god with a huge hammer. He rode on a chariot pulled by mighty goats and was revered and worshipped by people living here and throughout Germany and Scandinavia. There were various kings in the area, and they were always fighting each other. One king got into some trouble, and he asked another king for some help. This king, named Louis, happened to be the son of Charlemagne, and he said he'd help if the Saxon king would convert to Christianity, which he did. When the king returned home, he changed all those Thor hammers into crosses and told all his subjects they were now Christians. A few more negotiations among the various kings, and soon all Germany, Scandinavia, and England was Christian. Okay, let's leave this area for a bit and talk about another region, about 1,000 miles southeast of here. In the 21st century, the area is called the Ukraine and southern Russia. However, today in the 700s, it is called Khazaria. The Khazarian king, Bulan, decided he wanted one religion for all his subjects. So he met with Christians, Muslims, and Jews to see which religion he liked best. He chose Judaism. So most of his followers became Jews and lived in the region for hundreds of years. Just to the north of Khazaria lived another king named Vladimir. Vladimir's people followed a number of different religions, but his neighbors all seemed to be united under one religion. There was the Jewish Khazars to the south, the Muslim Bulgars to the southwest, the Roman Catholic Christians to the north, and the Greek Orthodox Christians to the west. So Vladimir met with representatives of all the religions and decided he liked the Greek Orthodox the best. He had all the shrines in his territory torn down and replaced with Greek Christian statues. Soon, all his subjects were Orthodox Christians.
Didn't they get to choose for themselves?
Very few people actually chose their religion. If you lived in an area that was Roman Catholic, you were almost surely a Catholic. If you lived in an area that was Muslim or Orthodox Christian or later Protestant or even Khazarian Jew, then that is what you were. And you believed you were right and often killed to prove it. Those you didn't kill, you converted to your religion.
So wouldn't God help the one true religion?
That's what most thought. When King Charlemagne came up here to Saxony, he found an oak tree that was sacred to those who worshipped Thor. He had the tree chopped down. The people expected Thor to strike out with a lightning bolt or something, but nothing happened. They concluded that Charlemagne's God was stronger than their God, so they relented and became Christians. The problem with the greater God theory is people believing in Christianity defeated people believing in Islam in Spain, but in Turkey and Africa and Palestine, it was the other way around. And in the 20th century, Christians once again defeated those Muslims in Turkey and Palestine, who were later defeated by Jews, who were killed off by Christians. Well, you get the idea. And don't forget Ferdinand Magellan. The great explorer waded ashore in the Philippines with a ragtag army and a conviction that his Christian God would protect him. He didn't even make it out of the waist-deep water before being slaughtered by pagans. I'm not sure there is much validity to the God is on our side argument. Today we live in a somewhat different world. You can actually make choices about which God you want to believe in. Well, maybe not. At least in some parts of the world, you can decide for yourself instead of just believing in GS.
GS?
Grandmother's superstitions. That's what carries most religions forward. Armies conquer people and force their religion on the conquered. But it isn't until older generations start passing on the traditions and beliefs of the particular religion that it fully takes root. This usually occurs with the women. Men seem to like doing the converting, whether by gun or pulpit. It is the women that nurture the beliefs and spread them to their children and their children's children. Remember Clovis, the Frank king that was one of the first to start the conquering and converting process? It was actually his wife, Clotilda, who was already a Christian, that made sure the religion stuck in the territories ruled by her husband. While you are young, you can be forced to go to church, forced to go to Sunday school, or the mosque, or the synagogue, or the temple. You can be force-fed all the beliefs, traditions, and superstitions from the older generations, and you'll be told that they are all true. Ultimately, though, what makes you different from those Saxons we just visited is that at some point in your life, you can actually choose what you want to believe. As long as you remember that you get to choose, that the decision is yours and yours alone, you'll do well. You'll certainly do a lot better than those poor worshippers of Thor, who went to church one day to find all their Thor hammer symbols had been pounded into crosses, simply because a king made a deal with another king and decided that all his subjects were instantly Christians.